tell me that story you were telling me about
Harvey?
Matt Harvey, where you guys were.
We went to when the Royals won the World Series.
Whole team.
We were sitting next to each other. We went to the game together, and we were down right by the
next to the dugout.
Yeah.
Take it, Bobby.
And then Harvey came out. That ninth inning was about to start, and Harvey came down in the dugout, and Terry Collins, we could tell he was telling him that he was going to bring in the relief pitcher, and Harvey was not having it. Right next to us, just saying, "I'm not getting out of this game. I'm staying in."
He's dropping the
we were like,
so you got
Paul, he's not coming out. He refused to come out of the game, and that's when Paul turned to me and said,
The Royals are going to win the World Series.
You sensed it right then and there.
I sensed it. I said, They went out, and then then that inning happened.
It did.
And that's when I grabbed your arm and said, the Royals are going to win the World Series. And then I took a picture in that moment. And we're surrounded by Mets fans. But I was, I knew then.
Were you rocking your Royals garb?
Yeah.
At City.
I was, but I don't want to be one of those guys. I'm not like the, getting in the face of the opposing. I always admire anybody that goes to an opposing stadium in their team's gear. That's a fan. I give it up to anybody that does that, as long as they're not, jerks.
Mm-hmm. That was the happiest night one of the happiest nights of your life.
Yeah,
man.
it was incredible.
He was on the field. We were in the locker room. It was amazing. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan, but to be in the World Series winning team locker room where they're blowing champagne, and this guy's like a mascot for them. So they kept lifting him up. I was really upset because I had a good coat on that I had just had dry cleaned.
You were
remember?
upset.
And I was upset.
Like,
I had champagne all over it. I'm not a fan of the Royals, so I was like, the coat, watch it, Mustakas, whatever.
See, now if it's a Yankees celebration, you don't care about the dry cleaning, right?
Watch it, Mustakas.
If it's
I don't
Yankees,
care. I'm not wearing probably not wearing the good coat.
Yeah. Oh, because I see.
Because I'm ready. Yeah. But I wasn't ready for that.
Well, I wasn't. We didn't know that was going to happen either. That just kind of people grabbed us. We were like, come on. And then next thing you know, we just kind of got swept up into the crowd.
Next thing you know, it's Cristal and Eric Hosmer, and it got.
And they're like kids. Like, that's the thing you don't really appreciate until you're right in front of them. They're like kids all of a sudden. They've just won the World Series, so you see these grown men acting like teenagers. Like, it's amazing. They're just like little kids. The ultimate dream has just happened. Sal Perez, it was like watching a little kid, like kids win the Little League World Series, but it was the World Series. It was amazing.
Bobby Cannavale and Paul Rudd here on the Rich Eisen Show. So how would that, Bobby, moment compare to watching Charles Oakley get dragged out of Madison Square Garden?
I was there.
You were there.
You were?
Can you please walk me through?
And Aziz.
Walk me through. So you were there with...
I was with Chris and Aziz.
Chris Rock?
Two funny guys. Yeah. And it happened over under the basket there where Dolan normally sits.
Yeah. And where are you?
And we were in the middle there, across from the bench. And it was surreal. I know that word's overused, but it was surreal to see Charles Oakley get carried out like that. It was weird.
Did you know something? Like, when did you
first... It
first...
took a while for us to figure out what was happening, and then I remember the Knicks were bringing the ball down, and then they stopped. I don't remember who had the ball, but he just stopped, and the whole team, the teams on the court...
Play stopped?
Stopped to see what was going on. I think everybody realized at the same time that it was Oak. And then it was... And then it was just the audience, the crowd was, every shot, like, it escalated. It was like, oh! It was like being in a wrestling match. It was wild. And then they carried him out, and the place went nuts. Couldn't believe it.
And then you watched the rest of the game? I mean...
Yeah, and then we spent the rest of the time talking about it. But, it was pretty wild. Like... It even shut Chris up. Chris usually has a joke for everything, and he was like, "Whoa, I don't know how."
That's harsh.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah.
And Oakley handed his watch to somebody because he knew that he was not going to spend the night at home. Like, he handed his watch to somebody. He knew this thing was going down.
It's so sad.
That night. It was so sad.
Sad. I was just talking about the other day about the NBA in general, about how that's the last great era of the NBA, I think. Those '90s teams.
Yeah,
because Jordan. About how many great players there were, right? There were so many. I was talking about how it seems like LeBron has no competition in the East. It just feels like it's going to be the same two teams again. in the 90s, remember how many great players there were? It was Malone, and there was Olajuwon, and there was Clyde, and there was Jordan, and there was those Knicks teams. It felt like there were a lot more players.
David
Miller,
David
there was
Robinson.
David Robinson. It feels like that era is not. We don't have it anymore.
Because we were talking about it the other day, that the number of teams and players that got denied by Jordan.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Ewing. It was Stockton and Malone, and it was Clyde.
Yeah.
And it was, you could just keep going down the list of some of the Lakers teams, the Pistons at the time.
Yeah.
You know, obviously were the last team
Glove,
that
the Seattle teams that were really good with
Sean Kemp.
With Sean Kemp and Gary Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just seemed like there were better teams or something back then.
Yeah.
And to see Oakley get pulled out like that just brought me back to those great teams. You can't believe seeing somebody from those teams get dragged out of the Garden. It just felt wrong, especially since it's New York City, and New York City hasn't had a great Knicks team since then. You'd think, they treat them a little better.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.